Is it just a happy coincidence that I'm putting this video out on the 6th of the 6th, 2016, or is it just a poor joke and an excuse for me to be lazy? I'll let you decide. Doom 2016 for the PS4. Doom 2016 is a reboot of a much beloved franchise made back in 1993, which kickstarted and some would say pioneered the idea of an FPS genre altogether. So after playing the original Doom on the SNES and seeing the announcement trailer last year at E3 for this upcoming Doom, imagine how stoked I was to see that this franchise was going to get a reboot. Think of the ideas that it could bring to the table. Think of the way that it could innovate the genre and push it forward to the next level, instead of us being stuck in this Call of Duty clone genre where, you know, no other game is better than Call of Duty and nobody's willing to innovate and push the genre forward. So after playing 10 plus hours of this game, which I got on day one of release, I'm very happy to tell you that this is definitely worth getting. This definitely feels like the old Doom of 1993. If you've played the old game, you will love this game. It's as simple as that. On the other hand though, this reboot does introduce some modern gameplay elements which the original Doom didn't have, and some work in its favour but others really don't. They really feel out of place, and on the other end of the spectrum it almost takes notes from the original and almost in a way copy and paste the gameplay style of that game, and again some elements of that really work but others really don't. So as we always do in my reviews, we talk about the story first, and in Doom's case it's the lack of story that we're going to talk about as well. You wake up on a stone table, you grab your gun, you start shooting baddies, to get your suit, and then you move on to the next bit, with so much as little of an explanation of why you're here, what's going on, how did these guys get here, and no tutorial explaining on how to move, how to fire your gun or anything like that. And it works in Doom's favour because everybody, even the developers, know that you're just here to kill demons from hell or shoot the baddies or whatever. It doesn't need to give you all this bullshit about, oh, the elements of the law or whatever like that, or this is why you're here, this is why they're here, go kill them. It doesn't give you a motivation or a motive to even mow down these people. It's basically just saying to you, here's a gun, now shoot the guys. And it works really well in this for, you know, a 2016 game. It actually is like quite refreshing to see like this kind of storytelling going on. You've obviously walked into hell, and in a way the story is really comical as well. The character of Doom Guy is, he just does not give a fuck about anything except for killing the demons and the zombie people and what have you. The game even goes out of its way to try and tell you about what's happened here and everything like that, but Doom Guy just does not give a fuck about anything. That he like punches the computer screen that's trying to give you exposition on all the story or anything like that, and it's really funny, and I know it's a bit one-dimensional for a guy, or like or he's like very manly and everything like that, but it did make me laugh a couple of times on two occasions or whatever, and it does play out through the entirety of the game. But where Doom really shines is its gameplay. It's so fast and so relentless and adrenaline kicking and everything like that you almost have to get used to it in a way for the first couple of chapters. I remember when I first started playing it, I was moving around so fast and I was just getting a bit of a headache, and I had to turn the settings down, sensitivity settings down, you know, obviously in the settings, just to try and adjust to it in my own personal way. And if you're like me, you will have to do that at some point, and it's a little bit of a knock on the game overall. But you know, once you get the hang of it, you will be almost like a master at it. You'll be whizzing around the area, killing guys and punching them. Oh, by the way, there's a certain method that you have to kill the guys in order to like win at this game. Pretty much, you have to shoot them down until they stagger, and then you'll have to kill them with a glory kill, and they will burst open with ammo and health and stuff like that. And it's a really good little mechanic as well, and it encourages melee play as well as, you know, the gunplay as well. And then when you get your chainsaw a few chapters into it, you'll use that just to get lots of ammo, and you'll constantly get replenished, and unless you get mowed down by guys, you will rarely find that you are low on ammo or health or anything like that. Really good mechanic, guys. I like that. On the flip side of things, though, the gameplay can be really repetitive at times as well, and almost very predictable. You'll go into an area, you'll kill a bunch of guys, you'll find some keys, you'll kill a bunch of guys, you'll find a horde's nest, and then you kill that, and then a load of guys will come, and you have to find another key to open a door. Rinse and repeat every single level, pretty much. And when you go into hell, in like the 7th chapter or whatever, I was starting to think, oh, maybe they'll switch things up, but no. It's pretty much the same process. Kill a bunch of guys, find a key to open a door, to kill a bunch of guys, to find a gory nest, to kill a bunch of guys, and then move on to the next level. It refuses to change every single level, and it does get a bit tiring, does get a bit predictable, especially with this lack of story that's driving it forward. It's literally just a kill fest. And if you're into that thing, then that's great, that's fine. But I did enjoy it at times, and other times I was just a bit like, this is just the same old shit over and over again, and it does put a damper on the experience, I'm afraid. Another bad comment I have to make on this game is the map system. It is so confusing, just trying to find the collectibles as well, and even the collectibles aren't that, they're a bit generic. They're a bit, you'll find these little bobbleheads of Doom guy, your character, which do serve nothing to the game other than just a collectible to collect. And you'll also find things like upgrades for your suit, upgrades for your guns, and different ways you can use your guns, which I love. By the way, I do love that kind of stuff that improves your character and makes you feel like you're getting stronger and stronger throughout the game. But when you've got a map system that is so confusing, and it's just presented to you in such a way where it is just like it's like, where do I go? I've said to the game many times, where the fuck do I go? How do I get up there? Where is the key for this door that I need to go to? And the area of the level is brilliantly designed, so you'll be jumping around like certain corners or jumping up certain platforms you didn't think you could reach, but you could just about reach it. But yeah, the map system is just really confusing, and and most of the time it made me want to ignore the collectibles and make me want to not go out my way to improve my character. It made me just want to follow a linear path just to get to the end of the level, just so I could do the other level and follow that on. And if I find any collectibles on the end or any upgrades along the way, fantastic. But I just didn't care. The game didn't make me want to care because the map system was so fucking confusing. And again, that's another damper on the game. Sorry, guys. But a positive thing I have to say about this game definitely is the enemy designs. It's ripped straight from the original Doom and modernized to this 2016 version of Doom. You could definitely tell where the source material came from. They haven't altered the enemy designs a lot, so they don't look anything like their past games. It looks like they've literally just taken the artwork for those games back in 1993 and made them for the PS4 now. That's how good they look. And each enemy has their own movements, their own way you need to attack them. Some will throw fireballs at you, others will charge at you, and others will fly in the air and you need to take them down. And they have little weak spots as well, like there's this massive big fat guy and his weak spot is his belly, so obviously you aim for his belly. And these little things like that are greatly appreciated, and they will sprinkle these new enemies here and there throughout each chapter. So at first you'll start killing these zombie guys, as well as the fireball throwing imps, and then later in the game you'll get introduced to a new enemy, and then the next chapter it'll be a couple more enemies, and then stuff like that. And as you go through the game, the way you'll get lots of varieties of enemies attacking you, and you need to be constantly on the move and constantly thinking about how to approach these different types of enemies. And I fucking love that. It's like a Dark Souls kind of way of dealing with enemies, but not as deep and not as obviously there's only one way to shoot a guy, but Dark Souls, it's a good comparison. It's the only comparison I can think of at the time. Great job on the enemy designs. I fucking love it. Now let's just quickly talk about the visuals for this game. Some areas of this game are taking place in different locations. Like, you'll start off at the base, you'll work your way out into Mars itself, on the outside of Mars, and then you'll go into hell, back to the base, back, rinse and repeat, stuff like that. And some areas look fantastic. Like, hell itself looks really daunting, looks like hell, looks very demonic. And the outside of Mars looks like fucking Mars, for crying out loud. But the only downside is the actual generic base metallic look can wear a bit thin on me. I've seen this done plenty of times in other games such as Dead Space, and where it looks very mechanical, and you kind of seen this shit before. But when you wander outside and into the hell dimension, and that's where the game really shines. It's where it really does use its colour and its lighting effects to its full, whereas when you're in the base, it does look very dark, very dingy, very mechanical, and it's like there's no colour, basically. That's what I'm trying to say. And it's just a personal taste of mine, but the graphics are very good on this game. So a thumbs up all round. Talking quickly about the audio as well, it is very, again, like Dark Souls-esque, where you'll be wandering around and you'll be finding no enemies to kill and stuff like that. It will just be silence. But as soon as you go into the fray and the enemies start attacking you and all that, there'll be like loud, heavy metal kind of sounds and like thunderous guitar riffs and stuff like that, which are quite forgettable in the I can't name a single song on this game whatsoever, whereas I can in the original Doom back in 1993. But it fits the mood perfectly and for what you're trying to do, and it gives you that extra kick of adrenaline that you need. Suits the moment really well. So again, I have to praise the game on that one. So running through the cons of this game just before I give my final verdict. The controls do take a while to get used to. In the first chapter or so, you'll be struggling to get used to it, especially with how fast paced it is. Reminds me a lot of Quake, if anybody has played the Quake games. But as soon as you maybe turn the sensitivity settings down, or you just find your flow, you will get used to it. You will be running and gunning around in no time, and you won't get a headache like I got at the first beginning of the game. I'm absolutely fine with playing this game now. I've gotten used to the speed. It's just about getting used to it as well. Repetitive gameplay as well in some areas. Like I said before, it is literally just a kill fest, and that did bother me, 60% of the time. But the other 40, I was having a blast. It was fantastic, and this game is not to be taken really in not to be played really in long periods of time. I did play it like chapter by chapter, and when chapter 1 I had a break, chapter 2 I had a break, stuff like that, and which is how I do most games really. I just take apart them bit by bit, and then unless I really love the game. But I digress again. And confusing map system, my god, that is like the biggest con for me really on this game. The map really does need a makeover and sorting out. Maybe it was just my problem, but I don't. Maybe if you played the game and you've had a problem with the map too, maybe let me know, or just call me out and call me on my bullshit and stuff like that. But it's just my personal taste on how the map should be presented, and I feel like they did the best they could, but it really didn't help me at all with this. And finally, doesn't really get any good until like the 7th chapter when you go into hell. Like I was speaking about the environments as well. You'll find yourself just in the metallic part of the basey part of the game first. You'll venture out into Mars a little bit, but as soon as that hell portal opens and as soon as you go in, chapter 7 is awesome. And you'll get so many different varieties of enemies that you won't know what to do, and it is such a nice change. And yeah, but as soon as you go back into Mars and the base and everything like that, you would wish you were back in hell again, and quite ironically, hey. But yeah, it doesn't really get good until like the 7th chapter, which is a long time for a game to actually start, picking up steam. But again, it's whatever floats your boat, and it's my just personal taste again. So my final verdict on this game is a high-end 7 to a low 8. It is a great time, especially for what it is and what it wants to be, and it's definitely different to the first-person shooters that are out today, and I find it a lot more fun, a lot more easy to play and digest and stuff like that, but those nags, those little niggly things like the map system and how repetitive it can be, did bring it down a few pegs. And yeah, if this, I wouldn't recommend maybe getting this at full price for the full £45–50, but maybe if you get it pre-ordered, or maybe if it goes down in price after a few months, I would definitely consider picking it up, especially if you're a first-person shooter fan. So there you have it. That has been my review on Doom 2016 for the PS4. If you like this video or like the stuff I do, or you want to make a suggestion of what reviews I want to do in the future, if they're on the PS4 that is, like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you next time for whatever it is I do next. I'm not sure yet, but I'm definitely doing something in the future. Take care. Bye bye for now.